Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria, with your host, Maria Malec, experience coach, conscience educator, and destination retreat host, presents to you countless ways to overcome an overwhelmed, overprocessed, and overmedicated lifestyle. She'll be covering everything wellness, from getting more from life than you put into it, destination retreats to healthy cooking and conscious education. So please welcome the host of Taking Healthy Back with Maria.
Hello, everybody, wellness seekers. Welcome back to Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I'm your host, Maria Malec, and welcome to today's show with Brad Walsh, Empowerography, which is a mouthful of words, but today we're going to be talking about shining light, empowering women from lens to mic. And Brad has actually created quite a global phenomenon. He has a podcast, Empowerography, which rates as the top 2.5% in globally related podcasts. He is a trailblazer in this new concept, and I'm really excited to talk about it because he is all about educating and elevating and bringing important issues to the forefront, especially for us women. And I'm excited to talk to him about this because it's an interesting area to be in. So welcome, Brad. Thank you so much for being here.
Hello, Maria. Thank you so much for this incredible opportunity to be here with you and share a little bit about my story and my journey and the work that I'm doing in the world. I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to be here with you on your platform.
Thank you. Let's just cut to the chase. What is Empowerography? And I know in your bio you mentioned that the pandemic birthed this concept, and it's super interesting to me, especially being a woman. And I know you host retreats around this, so I want to hear about all of it. So start from the beginning.
Well, Empowerography is a platform created to elevate and amplify the voices of women. It was created out of the pandemic, but I call it a dress rehearsal in 2019, where I interviewed 8 friends of mine. But where it came from really was, so I'm a photographer, I'm a boudoir photographer. So I've been in the women's empowerment space for 7 years now. And through the photography piece of it, I got to a point, I worked in corporate for 12 and a half years as an audiovisual technician. When I left my full-time job, my full-time career and jumped into photography full-time, I became a boudoir shooter. I've been shooting forever. I learned how to shoot back in high school on black and white film and all of those beautiful, fun things in the darkroom. But in 2019, when my business started to pick up traction, I was getting more inquiries and more bookings, but I felt like I wasn't reaching enough people. I wasn't having a big enough impact with the photography because the impact and the effects of that are very limited to basically my client and I, who really feel the effects of that. I mean, I love that I get to do that. I get to show women themselves in a light that they don't normally get to see themselves in. And being behind the lens and witnessing transformation is an absolutely beautiful and incredible gift for me, but also the gift that I get to give to these women to show them who they truly are inside and out through the photography, through the lens. But like I said, it got to a point where I felt like I wanted to have a bigger impact and I wanted to reach more people. So I thought, why don't I take what I'm doing with the photography, the values, the purpose, the mission of that work, and transform or transplant that into a podcast where I focus the podcast solely on women. At the time, and even now, I don't know of any platforms that have a male as a host that solely focus on and highlight women and amplifying their voices through sharing their stories. So I thought this would be great because I can carve out my own little niche in the podcasting world. And so I reached out to 8 friends of mine, and women who I had met and who became friends through the photography industry, and asked them if they would help me get the platform off the ground by letting me interview them. I had explained what I wanted to do with it. And of course, back then it was in its infancy and I didn't have the grander vision that I do now for the platform. But I asked them to help me get it off the ground by letting me interview them. Thankfully, they all agreed. I did the interviews, I created the content. And at that time, I was publishing, I think it was an episode every 2 weeks. And so, like I said, it got to the point where I wanted to reach more people. And we then, of course, fast forward to March of 2020. And of course, the pandemic came along. And instead of sitting around and complaining like everyone else, a lot of people, I shouldn't say everyone, a lot of people were doing around the world, I thought, I'm not going to get pulled into that. I am going to actually take advantage of this gift of time that we've all been given and use this gift of time to create something good, to put something good out into the world, because that's what we need right now. And
Yeah.
so I thought, well, I'll take what I'm doing. I'll reignite the podcast. I might as well. I've got nothing else I can be doing right now. So I started reaching out to women on Instagram. And Maria, the response was just incredible. Women were so happy to hear that a man had created a platform such as this to help elevate women and amplify their voices, that it turned into this thing where the women I was interviewing would say, Brad, I've got a friend, I'll connect you with her. Brad, I know someone, she'd be a great guest for your show, to where we now have this beautiful community that we've built over the past 4 years. And it has been absolutely incredible. I just celebrated 4 years, the 4-year anniversary of the podcast in April. And
Wow. Great.
I honestly, it's been amazing. I mean, I have met some of the most incredible, inspiring, beautiful souls I've ever met in my life. And I know that none of this is possible without all of these women who have got on board with my idea from the beginning and helped me and support me to get to where we are today. So this is a collaborative and a community effort, this podcast, and everything else that's tied into it. There's so many different facets and pieces of it. But the biggest piece of inspiration for me is my daughters. I have a 23 and a 25-year-old daughters. They're a big part of it. My mother and my grandmother are the foundation for all of it. I was raised by those two women.
That's lovely.
My mom left my biological father when I was 10. He was running around on her having an affair. And back in those days, the women were the ones who stayed home to raise the kids while the husband was the one working. So when I look back on that situation as an adult male, the fact that she had the strength and the courage and the resilience to stand up and say, no more, I don't have to put up with this anymore. 15 years of marriage, and she walked out. And so seeing my mother and the strength and the courage she had, and as well my grandmother supporting her, those two women, they're my heart and my soul. I wouldn't be the man I am today without those two women. So these two women, along with my daughters and my wife, these 5 women, they are why I do what I do. It's my way of saying thank you and giving back to women because of what these 5 women have brought to my life and done for me.
Wow. And let me ask an obvious question, maybe not so obvious. Excuse me. Did anyone think you were creepy because you were kind of segueing from the boudoir shoots to, messaging women you didn't know on Instagram,
No, I didn't experience any of that, because I shared a little bit about my vision for the platform. And then, of course, I would always hop on a discovery call and I would share my story. So once they heard my story, then, okay, now it makes sense. I mean, there were probably women that were skeptical, and I've spoken with women who told me later that it's like, what's this guy's angle? Why is this guy doing this? But nothing in them say, oh, that was really creepy or anything like that. It's just, a few of them thought, well, what's this guy's name? Why would a guy be wanting to empower women? This doesn't make sense. But once they heard my story, they understood, and it all made sense to them why I was doing what I was doing.
Right. Well, I'm just speaking because I've been approached by various different people, lots of them men, on social media, and they are creepy. Even though they're like, hey, they try and be not creepy, makes them even creepier. So I just thought I'd get that out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's so beautiful to hear, because there's so much division today with men and women and competition, perceived competition, maybe. And I think it's beautiful that you have taken your photography to another level, and seeing the changes in women when you photograph them and portray them and see them in a light that they don't see themselves. And
Hmm.
maybe after this it could change the trajectory of their life. So
Absolutely.
what kind of things are you doing to elevate and promote women and build them up? What's your process or technique for that?
Through the podcast or through photography?
Well, I guess both. To me, they
Both.
seem like they kind of coincide.
Yeah,
Or
there's a common thread through all of the work that I do in that storytelling, really, because I storytell through images and then of course provide a platform for women to share their stories. So with the photography piece of it, and even with the podcast, it's about, first of all, first and foremost, is establishing trust and a relationship with the person.
Mhm,
So with the photography piece, that starts right from the beginning. Whenever I get a client that contacts me, that trust starts building right from that point. I
mhm,
always, of course, just like the podcast, I schedule a call with them. I want to know why they want to do a boudoir shoot. What is it that's interested you in doing this? Why do you want to do this? Are you celebrating something? Are you celebrating you? Are you wanting to feel more confident? And so I get on a call with them. I explain what the process is, and I have a questionnaire that I go through with them. And one of the first questions is, why do you want to do this? And of course, there's
mhm,
various reasons. They want to celebrate a divorce, they want to celebrate weight loss, they want to celebrate a birthday, a milestone, whatever it is. There's tons and tons of reasons, but it's about establishing that connection and that trust with that
mhm,
client right from the get-go. And I always tell them that boudoir, I mean, there's this perceived notion that you have to wear lingerie in a shoot, which you don't. I always stress to my clients that that's not a necessity. You don't have to. You could wear ripped jeans and or cut off jeans and a t-shirt for all I care. It doesn't matter to me. It's about
mhm,
making you feel good about yourself. It's about making you feel
mhm.
helping to make you feel confident. So whatever you feel good in wearing, that's totally fine with me. I also stress that you can contact me at any time with any questions between our 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 discovery call and the shoot. Any
Mhm.
questions you have, please feel free to reach out. And then once we get into the studio, I always have a makeup artist there with me the entire time, so they
Oh,
feel a little
wow,
bit more comfortable. There's another woman there in the studio with them.
great.
They get their hair done, they get their makeup done, and then it's just continuing and having conversation. Keep the energy light. Let's have fun. Let's make this a good and fun experience for you. So is joking around, keeping it light, and constantly showing them during the shoot the images that we're capturing, because I would imagine they would be sitting there thinking, what do they do? Like, is this guy capturing anything? Is it anything good?
Right.
So I'm constantly showing them the back of the camera. And the podcast thing is just same kind of allowing them the space to talk about who they are, shining a light on them. That's what it's about. Holding space and growing trust.
Awesome. Well, I can't believe it already. We have a commercial break coming up. I'm really enjoying this. I can't wait to hear more. We'll be right back. Thank you.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense radio show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Welcome back, everybody. We're talking to Brad Walsh of Empowerography. He just talked about why he does what he does and the boudoir shooting and podcast. My next question is, how do you create a story with the photographs that you take? You said you create a story with the photo shoot. What does that look like? What does the story look like?
A story of these women stepping into their confidence, seeing that transformation. Because of course, when they come into the studio, first off, they're 98% of the women choose to wear lingerie. So they're basically standing in underwear and bra in front of a stranger, right? So of course, that's very vulnerable and nervous and all of the things, because again, 98% of these women are not model. They're regular people. They're not used to being in front of the camera. So it there you go. It's about getting them comfortable and showing that transformation through the images. By the time they leave the studio, or I've had this happen so many times where we're coming up to the end of the shoot and I tell them, we've got enough images. We're good. Thank you very much. You did amazing. And like I said, I'm constantly showing them the back of the camera so they know what we're capturing. And I'm encouraging them, constantly giving them encouragement. And by the time we get to the end of the shoot, and I've said, okay, that's a wrap. We're done. We've got all the images we need. A lot of them have turned around and said, oh, I was just really getting into this. I was really enjoying this. And so it's that point of showing them the transformation that they are going through and witnessing that and being part of that. So it's really a story of transformation is what these images portray. And I always also tell them in the pre-shoot consultation, before we even get to the studio, that these images that we are creating together are just a byproduct. It's really about the experience. That's what it's about. The images are, of course, these are something that you will always have forever to look back on 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road. But it's about the experience. It's about how you feel at the end of that shoot, at the end of that 70 minutes or 80-minute shoot, how you feel about yourself, how confident you feel. And I can notice it. I see it when they come in as opposed to when they leave. They walk out with such an air of confidence. Yeah, it's absolutely incredible to witness. And unless you've seen it, it's hard to put into words. It is absolutely incredible, though. It's such a beautiful thing to witness and be part of.
Yeah, I can imagine the aha moment, the moment from them going from being uncomfortable to just like flipping their hair.
Yes,
and,
yes, that's exactly it.
Yeah,
That is exactly what happens.
Do you have repeat clients who come back either yearly or, periodically?
I haven't had any. I did take a break from shooting for 2 years, actually, to focus on building the podcast platform. So I'm just now getting back into the photography piece of it. But no, I haven't had repeat clients. I've shot for friends and they've reached out and said they would love to do another shoot at some point, but I've not booked in any repeat clients.
Right. Okay. Well, let's dig deeper into the podcast.
Yeah.
What kind of stories are you hearing? And do you have famous people, not so famous people, regular people like me?
It's
who are you talking to?
It's usually regular people. I wouldn't say I've had anyone famous, but it's fairly regular people telling stories of their lives. I think that all of us, every single person on this planet has a story to share. And if I can be the person to provide a platform for you to share your story, then that fills my heart, that fills my soul, that I'm able to do that for someone, because I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, every single person has a story, and that story will impact at least one person's life. And that's the goal. As long
Mm.
as we together, my guest and myself, can impact one person's life through that story, that's my job done. And it's about providing the space for them to openly share and openly be vulnerable enough to share their stories, because it does take a lot of courage to share your story, to vocalize it, to stand up and shout from the rooftops what you've been through. Because a lot of these women, I mean, I've marveled at how these women are still standing after the stories I've heard. Like, some of the stuff is just unbelievable. And I think to myself, how on earth are you still standing? How are you still going with what you've been through? It is absolutely phenomenal what these women have done. I pull inspiration, Maria, from every single story that I hear. It is absolutely amazing.
So is everyone who you talking to coming from a place of trauma, or are there other things that people have been through? I mean, if someone's overcome incredible feats of things, then in their life it's traumatic.
Hmm.
Because I'm just thinking for myself. Recently, I thought, I don't really have a story. I wasn't abused. I wasn't this. I wasn't that. But then I was thinking about my story, my own story of kind of living a double life at one time, drug addiction, deception, and there wasn't trauma that was done to me, but I know within the things that I went through and the choices I made, that I guess it is kind of traumatic. So, what kind of things are you finding that inspire people to come on
Hmm.
your show with like
Well,
their story?
I want to start by saying what you overcame is a story. You do have a story. That is a story. You have overcome trauma. Everybody's
Mm,
trauma looks different. Just because yours is not sexual abuse or something horrible like that doesn't mean it's not trauma. So
mm,
everybody has overcome some kind of trauma, drug addiction, like you said, or living a double life or whatever. It's such a wide range of stories, and but every one of these stories, they've overcome something and they've come out the other side. They have dug in and done the work with themselves, to work on themselves, to develop themselves, to come out the other side of things. And just because we've gone through things and come out the other side of them does not mean that we still don't go through things as we progress through life, because we're human beings. We're constantly evolving and growing. So our struggles, our challenges will change, they'll shift, because we've grown as people and we learn how to deal with and handle things as we go through them, so that we learn to deal with them in different ways, quicker, faster, whatever it is. But everybody has a story. So the stories range. It ranged from sexual abuse to, oh, there's so many, Maria. It's just,
physical abuse,
yeah,
neglect,
physical abuse. Yes.
abandonment. Okay,
Yeah.
I
I
got
mean, losing a business, failing at a business, all of it's all trauma. And we've all
bankruptcy.
been through something. Yeah, exactly. We all have a story to share, and we've all gone through it and come out the other side of it, and we're working on growing and doing better.
Yeah. And really, this is such a great topic for this show because my whole mission is to help people take healthy back. And just like trauma, health looks different to everybody. And in some way, if you being here can inspire someone, to do what you do, go through
Mhm.
that, go on any of your retreats, just going through the process is what I'm hearing is a healing activity.
For sure.
You,
I mean,
you
I
know,
had a woman on that cured herself of cancer. She was a stage 4 cancer survivor. She cured herself completely. She's completely clear of cancer. And she did that. That is huge. So it's not always abuse. It could be disease. There's so many different things, but it's about
Right.
remaining true to yourself and doing the work. That's the most important piece, is doing the work, doing the self work to improve, because we can always improve. There's always room for improvement.
Sure. And what do you do with the knowledge that you get? You could either bury it
Yeah.
or you could do something with it, which is, we're both doing that in different sectors.
Yeah.
And I think that's really cool. I'd love to know how you got to be in the top 2.5% of podcasts globally. What does it take to, get that stature?
It's consistency. First of all, I consistently put out 2 episodes a week. I mean, when I first started, like I told you, I was doing one every 2 weeks. Then it got to once a week. Then I started doing 2 a week. I did 3 a week. Then I scaled it back to 2 a week. And there was a time where I was doing 5 weeks. So consistency is very, very important. Putting out
Mhm.
a consistent amount of episodes, putting them out on the same days so that your audience, your fan base know, hey, Empowerography's got a new episode coming out on Mondays and Fridays. We know that, so we can go and download it and listen to it. But the most important piece, I have to say, is your community, your support system. Without your listeners, you're nothing. So it's about creating the space, creating good content, of course, but having that support system, having that community behind you, having your, as I call them, super fans, your group of
Mhm.
super fans who will support you and get on board with you. And then, of course, expecting your guests that you have on the show to promote the episodes. You're
Mhm.
reaching an audience that you don't normally have access to, and that's your guests' audience. So having them
Mhm.
promote you and talk about you and share the content that you are creating together, ratings, subscriptions, all of those things, those are all part of it. But I would have to say that having that community of super fans is your biggest piece for sure.
Wow. Well, we may have to talk offline sometime
Yeah,
on how to build that
sure,
fan base,
sure.
because I admittedly I'm struggling with that a little bit,
Hmm.
but this is a whole new career for me. I've been a
Yeah.
stay-at-home mom 29 years,
Hmm.
and so now I'm trying to figure out where I'm going from here. And the podcast thing is what I'm doing. And
Hmm.
thankfully with Bull Brave TV, I am able to do that more consistently and more professionally. So a shout out to the people behind the scenes.
Always
Um,
got to thank the people behind the scenes. They make it happen, right? And I will say too, patience. You got to have patience, Maria. It takes time to build that community, to build that super fan base, to build that audience. So be patient.
I am. And guess what? We have another commercial break coming up. So stay tuned. We're going to talk about your retreats next. I can't wait.
Yes. Awesome.
Did you know that your beliefs create your entire reality, but it's the subconscious beliefs that do most of the creating? Belief shifter and life coach Shiraz can help you identify those limiting beliefs and eliminate them, often in a single session.
Like it was almost instant, like I had relief right away.
Creating better health, relationships, careers, and finances. Let Shiraz help you step out of safety and into awareness.
Definitely something's happening. It's like a flow inside. It feels good.
Whether in person or online, Shiraz provides personal coaching, belief shifting. Visit Shiraz at energeticmagic.com or call 416-529-7429. Energetic Magic on the BBM Global Network, Tuesdays at 7 p.m. Eastern. Find your greater happiness. Be well. Be aware. Be magical.
Are you struggling to care for elderly parents or a spouse? Do you wonder if being a caregiver is making you sick? Are you worried about taking time off work to care for elderly parents and balance work, life, and caregiving? Has caregiving become exhausting and emotionally draining? Are you an aging adult who wants to remain independent but you're not sure how? I'm Pamela D. Wilson. Join me for the Caring Generation radio show for caregivers and aging adults, Wednesday evenings, 6 Pacific, 7 Mountain, 8 Central, and 9 Eastern, where I answer these questions and share tips for managing stress, family relationships, health, well-being, and more. Podcasts and transcripts of the Caring Generation are on my website, PamelaDWilson.com, plus my caregiving library, online caregiver support programs, and programs for corporations interested in supporting working caregivers. Help, hope, and support for caregivers is here on the Caring Generation and PamelaDWilson.com.
Welcome back, everybody. We're with Brad Walsh of Empowerography. And we are going to find out now. Tell us about the events you put on, and especially your retreat in Costa Rica next year.
Yeah, so the retreat came out of the idea. This year every year we host a women's empowerment online conference, the Empowerography Live Conference. So this year on March 8th, we held our 4th annual. And it's held on March 8th to celebrate International Women's Day every year. And each year we have, we choose, my co-host and I, Cecilia Tement, choose a different theme for the conference every year, an overarching theme. And then what we do is within that theme, we choose 5 panels. We have 5 panels with different women on each panel with a different topic of discussion related to the overall theme of the conference. And so this year, we had, I believe it was 29 women. We had a woman that kicked the conference off who gave a 10-minute talk. Then we jumped into the first 2 panels. Then we had a lunch break. And when we came back, we had a keynote speaker who spoke for 15 minutes, and then question and answer period. And then we finished up with the last 3 panels. And then at the end of the event, what we do, because the event is streamed live from Zoom into a private Facebook group for ticket holders. We sell tickets to the event for $25. And what we do at the end, after all the panels are done, is we bring everyone from the private Facebook group into the Zoom lobby, and we talk, we have connection. And then what we do is we put 4 to 6 women into breakout rooms each separately and let them network with each other for 15 minutes. And we bring them back into the Zoom lobby. Once that session is done, put them back into another room with different women so that they can get to know each other and connect with each other. But it's really an incredible day filled with connection, communication, collaboration. Like so many relationships and collaborations have been born out of the conference, and it's just an amazing thing to witness. We give away prizes all throughout the course of the day. All the speakers usually contribute prizes to give away because a lot of them, they have they're entrepreneurs, so they want to promote their businesses, so they'll give away prizes, give us prizes to give away throughout the course of the day. We record the event. The recording lives in the Facebook group. And so we thought, my co-host Cecilia and I thought, last year, just before we started promoting this year's event, we thought, let's do something big for the 5th anniversary. Why don't we let's try and take this in person? And first we had the idea to do it here in Canada, in Ontario, but we were looking around and venues were kind of expensive. And we thought, well, we also have to, if people are coming in from all over the world, because Empowerography is global, we're going to have to figure out, well, how are we going to get them from the airport to 2 hours outside of the city and busing people back and forth. We thought, you know what, let's just look into doing it somewhere tropical, somewhere beautiful. And so we thought, let's go Costa Rica. Why not? Let's give it a shot and see what happens. Let's put it out there, put it out to the universe. And it's been amazing. We're turning it into a 5-night, 6-day retreat. We will host one of those days will be focused on the conference, of course. We'll be streaming it live from Costa Rica. But the rest of the time will be an opportunity to take in the culture, the food, the surroundings, and just really connect with one another and get to know each other. Attendees have the opportunity to teach a masterclass or teach a class at the retreat. We'll be hosting 3 classes a day for 4 days. 5 days, sorry, because it's 5 nights, 6 days. So 5 days. And we'll also give people some time to explore, go out and explore the surrounding areas. But it's really about that connection, getting to know each other, connecting with each other on a different level, on in person. So it's really exciting to be able to take it to that next level for the
That's
5th anniversary and celebrate the 5 years of the conference.
one. It sounds like you're going to have that every year, though.
Yeah, I
An
think so.
on-site thing. Are you sold out yet? Do you still have spaces left?
We still have spaces left. We are 65% of the way there. So
Oh,
we're
great.
doing really good.
Now, do the attendees also get a photo shoot? I'm
Yes, they
thinking.
do. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for reminding me of that. Yes. Each attendee will get a 30-minute photo shoot with me, and they'll get 3 digital images to take home with them. Each attendee also is going to be a speaker at the conference as well. So there's another
That's amazing.
incentive to be part of it and to join. And it'll be first come, first serve, but you also have an opportunity to teach a class while you're there. So your area of expertise, whatever your business is, you have the opportunity to teach a class while you're there as well. So it's going to be next level. I'm really excited. We'll have a private chef, all of the things. It'll be shared accommodations, but it'll be just
Mhm.
incredible. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. And the conference sounds appealing also because there's so many people doing summits now,
Mhm.
which are, like anthologies of all different kind of people. And I think they're really time consuming. You
Yeah.
know, if someone has a summit for 3 days, that's a lot of people and a
Yeah.
lot of time. And I know most people don't have that kind of time. So the way you structured yours is really appealing. Like, oh, 15-minute talk. I could listen to a 15-minute talk, and 15-minute breakout sessions and whatnot. So
Yeah.
that's really smart. I just want to commend you on that.
Thank
I
you.
think a lot of people should take a page from that book.
It's
Um,
great. It's a 1-day event. We started at 9:30 in the morning and it goes till 6 to 7 p.m. But there are breaks in there for people. We actually this year brought in a woman who does chair yoga to break up the energy. And then we had another woman who was all about self-love and empowerment. So she ignited everyone's self-love. So there was 2 breaks in there as well where we could give people an opportunity to just break up the energy, because this year's theme was focused on advocacy, awareness, and action. So it was a pretty heavy day. The panels we had were about breast cancer awareness, human and sex trafficking, mental health, um, domestic violence, and self-love and empowerment. We end every conference, we end with a self-love and empowerment panel. So the panels, our speakers don't have to prepare a talk. What we do is my co-hosts and I create questions around the topic of that panel. So all you have to do is show up and just speak. And it's great to see, because the interaction between the panelists, when we are asking the questions, they get to interact with each other and connect with one another during the conference. So that's another great piece too, because they don't have to prepare anything. They just show up and here we are. Let's have a conversation about it. So it's very free flowing conversation. It's really an incredibly inspirational day.
wow, you have touched my heart so much. Like, I want to come to Canada and have a photo shoot with you. I want to go on your retreat. Um, I'm juggling so many things right now, and I'm re-navigating things I had planned in the year. So there's actually a possibility I might be able to make
Oh,
it to Costa
that
Rica,
would
which
that
I
would be
really
awesome.
love. But gosh, this is just so beautiful. We need
Thank you.
more people like you. Uh,
Thank you.
you know, uh, a common friend, Hollis Citron,
Yes.
introduced us. I
Yeah.
interviewed her a week ago,
Hmm.
and it's just really cool to see when you start getting introduced to more people in alignment with this common energy.
Yeah.
how much more is coming back. I feel blessed. I hope you feel blessed.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. Hollis is such an amazing human being. I am so grateful to her for her friendship, for her support. She's part of the community and she
Oh,
always is
cool.
there to support me and cheerlead what I'm doing. And Hollis is an amazing human being. I'm so grateful for her friendship and
Yeah,
for her connecting you and I. And because now there's someone
yeah.
else as part of my community who can get into the community and be part of it. And just enjoy the benefits of being in the community. I mean, this year with the conference too, we decided that we were going to contribute a portion of the ticket sales to 3 different charities, which was amazing.
Oh,
We were
wow.
able to do that too. So we were able to give money to charity.
That's
Three, two,
awesome.
yeah, 2 of the women who were speakers have charities. So we were able to contribute to their charities. And then we had a 3rd charity that we donated from the ticket sales to as well. So it was an all around amazing event. It was definitely one of the best ones we've done so far. I would say,
Mm.
I would even venture to say it was the best one we've had so far. The 4th year. It was amazing. Next year is just going to be next level, though. That's going to be incredible.
I know. That's great. And I just want to show people who are still watching that this is all a part of your health and wellness, is surrounding yourself with people who build, nurture, and support you, who give you ideas of new ways to perceive things, new ways to approach things. And I'm feel empowered by your empowerography. I like saying that. It's so cool. One day it'll be in a dictionary, maybe.
You never know. I wanted to, the name just came to me. I wasn't even like, you hear people sitting around trying to think of names for their businesses, for their companies. And this just came to me because I thought, I will combine the photography element of it and how that's all related around empowerment and also the podcast. So I thought that makes perfect sense. It's easy. That's exactly it. But you're right. This, I believe wholeheartedly that community and our support system is the foundation for everything. And you're right. This is about creating a healthy environment, a healthy mind, a healthy body. When you have people around you who support you, that lifts you up. That makes you feel good about
Mm,
yourself, which then when you feel good about yourself, you feel empowered, you feel strong, you feel resilient, you feel courageous, you feel good. It's all
mhm.
part of it. It's all tied in together, but community and support are the foundation for all of it.
Yeah, and it's always filling your bucket so you're not trying to give from an empty bucket, which so many of us do today.
Hmm.
There's so many things going on, so many distractions. And I just enlisted another mentor. And in the past, I have not gone in 100% committed, but with this one, I finally feel that 100% commitment because I'm tired of throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks and, you know, doing a half-assed effort.
Yeah.
And eventually, when you spend enough money and you waste enough of it, you have to come to a point where you say, enough is enough. And
Yeah,
I'm at that point in my life and I want to turn things around. And like you said, you have to take the action. That's a common
for
theme
sure.
for overcoming anything.
Yeah,
It's great
absolutely.
to have all the knowledge, but if you don't do anything with it, you're literally just burying it.
But
So
maybe those previous mentors didn't align for you. Maybe that's why you didn't
I
push
think you're
forward and
right.
do the work. You have to find the person that you align with. Just like your community. You have to bring in the people who are like-minded, who support and believe you, who you can also support and believe. But as you said, you can't pour from an empty bucket. Or I had someone
Right.
give me the analogy recently that you fill a cup. You think of the cup and saucer. The saucer catches the overflow. That's what you have to give to others. The cup is for you.
Right. Right. Oh, good one. And on that note, we have our last break and we'll be right back, you guys. Thank you.
What if there were a super tiny device that could diagnose the brain and is smaller than a single human hair? What if you could see inside the brain to help an epilepsy patient during surgery or to help the fight against Parkinson's disease? Dr. Patricia Broderick is proud to announce the Broderick Probe, a biomedical and electronic breakthrough. Imagine a probe to help with the understanding and potential cure of brain-related diseases. To learn more, listen live to the Easy Sense Radio Show with host Dr. Broderick, Wednesdays 7 p.m. Eastern on the Bold Brave Media Network and TuneIn Radio. And to help support the Broderick Foundation, please go to EasySense.com and learn how, with your help, we can fight these horrific brain disorders. That's EasySense.com to learn more and help support the Broderick Foundation. Author, radio show host, and coach John M. Hawkins reveals strategies to help gain perspective, build confidence, find clarity, achieve goals. John M. Hawkins' new book, Coached to Greatness, Unlock Your Full Potential with Limitless Growth, published by iUniverse. Hawkins reveals strategies to help readers accomplish more. He believes the book can coach them to greatness. Hawkins says that the best athletes get to the top of their sport with the help of coaches, mentors, and others. He shares guidance that helps readers reflect on what motivates them, rediscover and assess their core values, philosophies, and competencies, find settings that allow them to be the most productive, and track their progress towards accomplishing goals. Listen to John Hawkins' My Strategy, Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern on the BBM Global Network and TuneIn Radio.
Well, Brad, we are wrapping things up. I mean, this went so quickly. You're a great guy. Your mission is amazing. And I'm going to plug more into it when I get a chance. And do you have any parting words, any last words you'd like to give to encourage people to maybe get a photo shoot or go on your retreats or just to elevate a woman who needs to hear it in the moment?
I think just, again, we've talked about it throughout, and that's finding your people. Your vibe attracts your tribe, as they say. So find those people that are like-minded. Surround yourself with those people. Continually surround yourself with those people, because we all need support. You can't do this alone. You have to have a community around you. It is so important. I'll say it again. Community is the foundation for everything, and you have to do the self-work. Believe in yourself, do the work, dig deep. A lot of people don't like to do it because it's hard, of course, and they don't want to look within, but you have to do that work. If you don't do the work, you won't be able to give fully of yourself. Part of why we're here is to be in and of service to one another, to support each other, to cheerlead each other, to lift each other. So you have to start with supporting, cheerleading, and lifting yourself. So start there. Start with you. It all starts here at home. And then you can give, as we just said before we went to break, the whole teacup and saucer analogy. Fill your cup first, and then it has overflow, which you can give to the others. So just believe in yourself and surround yourself with the right people. Those are the two biggest things I could say. For sure.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And I'll tell you, because we are built for community, I literally will not buy any iPhone, I that. It's kind of an energetic thing for me.
Yeah.
I'm an Android user, and everyone tries to convince me to switch. And I'm like, I won't. And it's because of that reason. Because if I keep saying I, there's no we.
I never thought about that. That's actually brilliant, Maria. You're right. I never, ever even considered that, but it's so true.
Yeah.
I'm an Android user as well. And so I applaud that in you for seeing that, for having the awareness to notice that and to stick to your beliefs, to stick to your guns. Some people may think that's silly, but I think it's great.
Yeah, it's something that has grown within me for a long time, that I'm super mindful about my words and my behaviors and actions. So I'm glad that I could impart that on you.
Yes,
And
I think that your self-awareness is awesome.
totally a pleasure. I could talk to you all day. Thank you so much for being a guest. I'm excited because I'm going to be a guest on your podcast in
Yes, I'm
July.
excited. Yep,
So that's going to be really awesome.
absolutely.
And it was a pleasure having you. I learned so much, and my heart is so full right now. And you guys who are watching, all my wellness seekers, find what's going to help you take your healthy back. And if you want to follow, you need to follow. Go to Taking Healthy Back with Maria on all the channels. That's where you'll find me. And I look forward to a conversation with you in the future. And keep watching, you guys, because if nothing else, what you find here is going to build, nurture, and support you, hopefully for the rest of your life. Take care. See you next week.
Bye.
This has been Taking Healthy Back with your host, Maria. Tune in each week as Maria will empower you to put your wellness in your control. Right here, Fridays, noon Eastern, on the Bold Brave TV network.